Hi, good afternoon. It's time for another chapter in the increasingly long saga of the two-ship build. I'm almost to the finish line on the NX-01, and I'm ready to start some more serious work on the Eagle. So let's get down to it. Okay, what we have here is we have an we'll start with the NX. The NX has been two-toned, and I have sprayed it with the metallizer sealer, and believe me, I sprayed it outside with plenty of ventilation and left it sit for hour upon hour to dry in the nice weather we had yesterday. Today is craptastic, but yesterday was quite nice. So the various main sections are have been sealed and have dried in. Again, you can see the two-tone effect of the templates, and what I need to do now is a little bit of touch-up of the some of the metallic colors, and then actually what I really want to do is to work on these windows along the rim of the saucer, because once I put the top on it, they're not going to be as easy to get to as they are right now. Now, I'm not going to drill those out because I'm not planning on lighting this at all, but I do want to paint somewhat in there, and I think I'm going to do it with a stain technique or a wash technique to make those windows stand out some. And that's job one. Job two is to get this Eagle, get some white paint on it today, finally. It's been languishing through no fault of its own. It's all been my fault. I need to finish up the templates. I've only got one more shape that is vexing me, and that's the shape that goes around these, I guess those are thrusters, even though there's really no structure or tank or anything that would allow those to be anything more than just feet. I mean, they look like they would be thrusters, and then these are retractable feet here, but frankly there's a door right here, and there are people sitting inside, so those couldn't be engine bells. I don't know exactly what they would be, but enough of that. It's Jerry Anderson, don't expect it to make sense. The pods have been primed, the cage is primed. The templates are in place on this side. I need to go in on this side and put them in place. Now, I have blacked out or painted black on the sections that are going to get templates on them. Again, I've painted black on the bottom of this. And then I'll spray white over top of all of this. These orange windows here are only here for show. I'll take those off before I paint. But everything else is ready to go. Now, in the other room, I have painted the silver on the engine bells and the feet and the smaller thrusters that do go under here. Those have been painted silver, and those are existing in the other room drying off. So let me finish up putting templates on these sides, and we'll be ready to paint some white finally. While paint is drying in the other room, I thought I'd bring the camera out here to show you where I am on the Kirk and Spock puppets. Pretty darn far along, if you ask me. This is the thing that I really am excited of working on, and have been playing hooky on the other stuff to finish these up. You may notice, well, I don't know how familiar you are with the actual prop, but when it was auctioned, and therefore when it was molded, they had done a lot of work with this area here. They had this thing was basically attached to it, and that was pretty much it. And that's not right. I mean, it may have been right for the prop, but it's not right for how the actual suit looks, which is my interest. So I undertook some scratch building. I drew off as much as from references as much as I could find, and basically worked out what the dimensions should be and made my own. And it's made out of plastruck and sheet styrene and healthy dose of epoxy sculpt. But you can see the detail here. Now this epoxy sculpt has been setting up overnight, and it's ready for some sanding, of course. Let me turn this around here so you can see how it fits into. There's some detail in here that needs to be put in place. I'm going to try something new. It's something I haven't done. I'm going to try making a mold. I'm going to make one of those, and since I've got 4 of them that need to be done, rather than trying to make 4 of them, I thought I would try to make one and then make a mold of it and actually cast up the rest of them. It's something I've watched other people do, something I have never dabbled in, making my own molds and my own casting. So we're going to see how well that goes. I have a feeling it's a lot more difficult than it looks on TV. Here's some detail you can see with the epoxy sculpt where I've had to change the hole, so to speak, from where the arms are actually going. I needed to fill in this side and etch out some of that side and put the detail back in with sculpting tools. Now I'll sand some more of that, but I needed for it to set up overnight before I could do that. And I've come up with a fairly I think smart idea as far as how to put the arms in so that they don't. I want to make the arms removable just for transportation and for maintenance should I ever need to get in there. But I want to key them so that they don't flop, because they are kind of heavy, and I don't want the thing the hand smacking against the leg and possibly breaking off a finger. So these are keyed. There's a rod going across there, and there's 2 slots cut in there, but there's only one way it can go in, and it fits the whole way in, and there you be. The heads are only painted in the roughest sense of the word. I just wanted to get some color on there so I can kind of see what the rest of the colors are looking like. It's a basic flesh tone and a basic hair color, and the same with Spock. It's a basic flesh tone and a basic hair color. Kirk is my test case. He's my guinea pig. Anything that I do here will be reflected over when I do the Spock figure, but Kirk is kind of taking the lead, as well he should, as far as I'm trying out methods for things, and then I'll repeat them over here on Spock. As you can see, I've got the bottom cut off. I mean, get underneath there. You can see how much of it I had to cut away. But the bottom is cut off, and I will make up a new pack to go under here. Now, this is the thing about Spock is I have repositioned the arms. These arms are the same as those arms, but you can see that I have increased the angle at the elbow and have changed the wrist completely to reflect the upward pose. So when those are final, they will go something like that, so that arms will be up in front of Spock. But this is the fun project I've been working on while others have been languishing. So very soon we should see paint going in here. I don't know what, if any, lighting I'm going to do. I'm thinking I might want to put thrusters in these corners. Oh, these corners were something else. On the original, or on the prop, these were rounded off, and I've built these square corners back out, and that's where the thrusters would go, or navigational lights. So I'm going to work on putting something there, and I need to put a light up in the helmet. Steve was right about that point. You really need something in there. It's just a question of how much. So while I was at it, I did run a cord down the post and in there, just so before I closed it up I would have access to it. But them's the say hello to my little friends. That's them for the time being, until I get some serious paint on them. Once I start painting, they're going to go pretty quickly because they're big areas of a lot of paint, and then there'll be some detail painting in there. But these are mostly the construction is the hard part. Pardon the mess, but here's something else I wanted to show you. This is the Duplicolor vinyl and fabric paint on the B9 legs. It's called medium gray. It's a little warmish gray, which I like. and it knocks down that awful gloss that the vinyl, you can still see the gloss from the vinyl on the inside. Just gives it a nice look, and it flexes, and it doesn't chip, it doesn't flake off when you flex it. I mean, I'm not going to go nuts twisting it and donuts just to show you, but it gives. But it's this paint right here. It is duplicolor vinyl and fabric coating, and the color is medium gray. But it seems to be working out just fine on the squishy bits on the robot. And here's one last look at the parts of the NX 1000 scale Weenix before I put it together. And then the last bit will be to put decals on it and paint some more of the details. But got all the brass accents in, and you can see the two-tone of the Aztecing, and I need to put the copper. I got the copper dish here. I need to put that into the front there. Point to it. There you go. Put it in the copper there, and get it all together. These are the silver bits for the eagle, like I was talking about. I'm going to do some washing detail on the landing gear, and some weathering detail on the bells. But next time you see it, they should be all together. Okay, and believe it or not, we have finally got some white paint on the eagle. Now, I was thinking about how good this airbrushed paint was looking on the eagle, and then it struck me. The first time I built this eagle, I couldn't even tell you what an airbrush was. It was that long ago, between the time it was originally released in the 70s and now. This is reefer white over gray and over black. It's not solid, and I'll tell you there's a reason for that. It may look more solid here than it actually is, but what I'm liking about it is by not making it solid, I'm starting to see into shadows, and it doesn't look as toy-like as it would if it were completely spray painted white. Now I'm going to go back in and I'm going to put some gray panels down and some such like that, and do some, you know, weathering inside the crevices and stuff. But I was really liking it. It's a subtle difference. I don't know how well it's going to show up here. But the crossbars, or the joints, are a little whiter than the actual rods. And that's just, you know, hitting it with another coat of the spray. And I was really liking how that was turning out. And it was giving me these natural shadow lines and just a lot more depth to the grays, or to the whites. I'm really liking how that's turning out. Now, like I said, if I had just plastered that with a big old spray can of white, then it really would have looked toy-like. And like I said, I'm really digging the differences in the tonalities here. And on these tanks, again, I'm going to go in and do a little bit of weathering and put some, you know, some miscellaneous grays on there. Here you're seeing I think, a pretty good job of the tubes, and you can tell by the fact that you can still see some of that orange templating there tells me that the white isn't completely covering everything. Now I've got the 4 engine pods hanging there, and they'll also get a little bit of touch-up of grays and some details before I start adding or constructing all this, putting all together. But that's as far as I think I'm going to get today. It's Sunday afternoon, and I'm going to rush and cut this stuff together. I think the next time you see it, I'll have some detail paint on it, and you know, some grays here and there, and then I'll strip the templates off, and you'll see how that looks. But progress is finally being made. Oh, the next thing I'm going to do also is to paint the red stripes on this, but I want this white to have a good chance to dry before I put the template tape over that and paint the red lines on it.